Hello Cancer, welcome to your December reading. We made it to the end of the year, so I really look forward to these sorts of readings. They give us a chance to look at everything that we've done and hopefully take a peek into what 2019 has in store for us. To that end, I'm going to be doing a specific video in January that is just focused on the new year. This one is going to focus on December's energy and hopefully help you finish up, wrap up any loose ends that you have for the end of this year. As a reminder, you can always use these videos for your sun sign, your rising, as well as your moon. If you don't know all three, just stick with your birth sign and you should be fine. For everybody that is returning, I would just like to say thank you so much for all the support this year, and for those of you that have been with me for several years, I really appreciate it. You are part of the reason I show up from month to month, so thank you. If you're brand new, I also want to give you a nice warm welcome and a quick rundown on how I organize these monthly readings. I like to start off with some channeled information. We'll be getting into that in just a second. Then I look at a Celtic cross for the month, which shows us sort of the high points and some of the challenges that you might be facing. And then I expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Now, if you like what you see here, I would really encourage you to subscribe to the channel so you can stay in touch. And also, if you'd like to give back, please feel free to join me on Patreon, or you can give a one-time donation on my website. I'll put some information at the end of this, or the bottom of the video, and I'm going to talk some more at the end of the video. I don't want to take up any more time right now, though. I want to get into the channeled energy for this month. Every time I do one of these videos, I like to meditate before I push record. I pick a deck of cards first, close my eyes, and then I meditate on your sign. As I was doing that, I receive images and then I do some automatic writing. Your channeled information was, I just basically saw you busy at work. It would be very similar to what you would see with the Three of Pentacles card, which is someone busy writing, busy focusing on the details. And as I looked at that, I channeled this message, which was, your energy is best put into creative endeavors, or you could even say channeled into creative endeavors this month. And the sort of phrase that stuck with me was create, don't contemplate. Because the contemplation, the consideration, that when you kind of get into your headspace too much, you're going to lose what the core of the sort of solution is, or the idea, or the sort of brilliant kernel of inspiration, whatever that is that you have. Go with it. Don't overthink. And as we look at the cards this month that I'll be pulling here momentarily, we're going to maybe try to see where there's moments that you need to just embrace and other moments where it might make sense to think. But overall this month, I want you to work more on an intuitive level, allowing for the flow to come through, the flow of intuition and abundance, and get out of your own way. And that's the main message for you this month, Cancer. So let's go ahead now and shuffle the cards. And as I pull the Celtic cross, I like to remain quiet. This gives me a chance to observe what's coming through, look at the locations, and also get the overarching message for the month. I know you want to do the same. So I'm going to pull the camera down, shuffle everything, and then I will rejoin you after I've laid out all of the cards. In addition to everything in front of us, I also like to use a catalyst. I see the catalyst as a connective thread that shows us really what to focus on over the course of this month, how to maximize potential, if you will. So we have an Artemis card here, which is all about, for me, this one, it's just like the Moon card here, which for some of you means that you might be paying a lot of attention to protecting your emotions. And it says you and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. Now, whether or not you feel that, that's what you need to sort of try to embrace this month, is this feeling of, I am okay, I don't need to worry so much about other people. And what happens sometimes when we are in a mode of overprotection versus simply doing our due diligence to make sure that everything is okay, if we err on the side of closing off, especially in our heart space, you aren't able to access that natural flow of energy and intuition that is intrinsic to your sign. So what I want you to do is to take some risks and put yourself out there this month. Allow people to see what makes you passionate, what makes you excited about life. The protection is a natural instinct, and I don't think you should completely work without any barriers, but don't let those fears of rejection or uncertainty sort of hold you back from showing something that could really change your life, change your world. Because sometimes when we hold back, people never really get to see who we are. We don't shine as much as we should. And particularly when it comes to creative endeavors, we're limiting ourselves. So don't let fear be a limiting force for you this month. We have Queen of Wands in reverse in the center. The message here, especially when we take a look at the Page of Swords or the Lady of Swords in this deck that's crossing it, is that you would be better suited this month to managing your own affairs, your own endeavors, creating sort of a to-do list. That's really what the Lady of Swords is saying. This is your month to set into action things that are going to help you and, by extension, people around you. But unless you can put the attention inward, you're not going to be able to do that self-work, that development that's going to be necessary for your own growth, your own leadership, and your own ability to mentor and inspire around you. And for those of you that might be even retired, maybe you're a grandmother, grandfather, or a consultant to someone else in your life, what you want to do this month is to, rather than tell someone what they have to do, kind of help them through their thinking process if they ask. You'll take a step back and then by focusing on your own stuff, creating to-do lists, making decisions for yourself, and possibly starting new projects that will eventually be able to create sustainability around you, other people are going to have to pick up the slack on their own projects, on their own personal responsibilities. Good leaders don't always have to sit there and basically issue a list of commands. You set some expectations, you allow people around you to work on it, then you check back and see how they're progressing. And I think for many of you, around the middle of the month, this would be a good time to help people if they're having a hard time with decisions. But for the first 7 or 8 days of this month, I really want you to focus on your own personal development. And as we look here in the deep past, for some of you, this could be about reading up on or researching on something that you wanted to learn about. It doesn't have to be something that is immediately going to translate to money, to success, to training. It could just be about enrichment. And that could be something fun. Maybe you've decided you wanted to learn how to, take up a particular style of dance, or you want to learn a little bit about the history of where you live or something like that. So just expansion of personal knowledge, and for some of you, skills, that's a really good thing. This can indicate that some of you have already decided that you want to do something on a much bigger level, like go back to school, get a certification, etc. You might be wanting to spend more time on that this month. So if you are doing some sort of higher learning or enrichment, that's the focus for this month. The card's reversed, which is showing that you didn't put enough maybe energy into it as you wanted to. So that's why I'm saying step back from managing everyone else, manage your affairs, manage your life, put things into action that matter for you. It's a great month for detail-oriented work, for writing, for computation. So good time to figure out your taxes for the next year, to put down into words or goals whatever it is that you want to accomplish. That's time well spent. For many of you, there is a sort of foundational opportunity as the month begins to look at finances. So if you're not happy with how much you've been making or how you've been spending your money, this is a chance for you to sort of take a look at that and think, how much of this is habit-based? Can I start to set up better habits for the year ahead? How much of this is because I'm holding back? And I talked a little bit about that earlier. And maybe you've just not been allowing yourself to put 100% or 110% into whatever it is that you want to do. Ask yourself, is that because you're afraid of rejection? Oftentimes, the Four of Pentacles is illustrating a blockage in the heart space. This one seems to indicate more of a difficulty in getting started. So I would encourage you, if it is just a matter of momentum, to try to put a stake in the ground. Do something that creates activity. I talked in another sign about, if you see a boulder tumbling down a hill, once it gets started, that energy is kind of unstoppable. I just want you to get rolling this month and allow for the momentum to pick up And I think if you do that, you're going to be in a really good position, because I'm not looking at other limiting resources here. With the Eight of Pentacles in the past and the Four of Pentacles here as your hesitation as the month begins, I think you have what's necessary to make everything work from a resource perspective, but you just have to get going. For money matters this month, obviously don't overextend. Now, for many of you, this is a holiday season where you're going to want to buy and give things to others. I would say this month, know that giving of your time and maybe choosing a smaller but a more meaningful gift that's going to be better for you for a budget perspective, so that as the next year starts, you're not beginning in a place of deficit. Your crowning card is basically about looking at opportunities that are not right in front of you. With the Four of Cups, sometimes we are focusing a lot on the practical, the tangible things that we can see, that we can feel. When it comes to opportunities, what it means is you could be missing something that's under the surface, or that's in the periphery, or something that's there but is not as obvious. So relationship-wise, there could be someone in your life that wants to explore a friendship or a love relationship with you, but because you're so distracted, again, the Queen of Wands in reverse in the center could be either so distracted on trying to get into other people's heads or trying to manage things around you, or maybe worrying so much about all of the minutiae in your life that you've missed someone that's right there that is either has a solution, wants to help, or wants to be a friend or more than a friend. So I want you to take time to look up and to pay attention to your surroundings. With one of my family members, I always remind them when they're walking outside to look up at the sky, to look up around them, to take in, to kind of drink in the moment. And even though you might be busy this month and you might be trying to get a lot of details sort of sorted out, don't let that pull you back from appreciating all of the help that's around you, all of the blessings that have been bestowed upon you this month, even if there's some challenges. And in doing that and just pausing a little bit, you're going to notice things that could help you have a breakthrough, help you find a solution to a problem that's been vexing you for a while. One thing that I want you to try to do again is let go of this feeling that I have to fix, control, or mend other things in my life. Because when you do that, you block the flow of prosperity and the flow of opportunity, because sometimes you just have to be receiving. You have to just sort of sit and wait. You can do everything you need to sort of set something in motion, but it's kind of like a seed that you plant in the ground. If I sit there and stare at the seed, it's not going to grow any faster. I have to water and fertilize it, but then I have to give it space and time to grow. And for some of you, that's what the Empress in reverse is saying. Don't try to over manage or think or overwork something. Another analogy would be sort of like if you're working bread, dough, or something like that, you can actually over knead it, and then it doesn't cook right, it doesn't taste right, it gets too tough. So the same thing is here, is working things just enough and then letting them sit, letting them sort of come into fruition in their own good time. There are some themes here that I see with strong women in your life. We have a lot of feminine, divine feminine energy in the center, the Lady of Swords, the Queen of Wands, the Empress. A lot of times this kind of energy can come through in a maternal sense. So whether this sort of manifests itself as a mom, an aunt, a sister, or even a father who kind of plays both roles, maybe a single father, what you want to try to do this month is give them a little bit of space, a little bit of room, and practice good boundaries with them. It doesn't mean that you have to get in any arguments. Just listen to what they have to say and let it go. And sometimes they just need to express themselves. And I think if you receive the information, and you can decide as an adult what to do with it, perfect. And this is going to also show them that maybe they don't need to tell you this stuff all the time, but when you no longer feel this need of having to show who's in charge, a good leader can listen to insight and think, I'll take it or I'll leave it. That's your advice this month with that maternal energy. As I look at your ego this month, I think it's really important for you to focus on, are you happy? Are you happy with your love relationships? Are you happy with what you're doing for work? Because, the Lady of Cups here in reverse, which is the Page of Cups, and then your crowning position here of the Four of Cups, this is showing me sort of a feeling of, if I had to kind of wrap it up in one word, it's sort of in the middle. It's sort of meh. And I want you to feel more than I want you to feel excited about what's going on in your life. So what's holding you back? Is it a feeling that maybe you've just committed to things that you've changed your mind about? If so, we're allowed to change our minds, but I want you to sort of express that and bring it to the surface and figure out how to solve that. That's going to be key to your happiness. The environment is a reassurance that you have more than what it takes to get things going this month. The Chariot here is actually a little bit of a catch-up card as illustrated. Normally the Chariot's coming towards you. This one is moving away from you. So I think for some of you, there is a sort of nudge, a push, a little bit of encouragement for you to not waste any time when it comes to going after what's important. And that's where I think we were talking about, are you happy? And if not, don't waste any time in doing things that don't bring you that sense of fulfillment and joy in your life. When we take a look at your opportunities this month, what you really want to avoid is any unnecessary conflict. I've given a lot of tips on how to do that with controlling types in your life. Generally speaking, if it works well for the team, go for it. If there's battles that seem to be a waste of your time or energy, this isn't the month to fight them. Better to use your time and energy on people that want to receive them. The other general note here is to try not to push other people's buttons, and if they push yours, let it go, unless they're really invading space or violating something or doing something wrong. If it's just someone that's being annoying, it's not worth your time. And by ignoring it, you're actually giving this person or this situation the feedback that it doesn't work. This doesn't work on me, and they're going to put their time and energy in other people that they can kind of disrupt. I really want you to focus on your overall vitality this month. How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Are you feeling a sense of excitement, of being rested, of being engaged and ready for the day? If not, I want you to pay attention to all aspects of your life. Are you treating your body correctly, getting enough rest? If not, stop burning the candle at both ends. If you are, and it's more of an emotional thing, focus on letting go of those things that no longer are inspiring you. And really, if you can't enjoy what you're doing for a living or who you're spending your time with, there's something that needs to shift in those two areas. If this is about negativity of thoughts, having overly critical mind where you're thinking, this isn't going to happen, or I don't have what it takes, or just sort of constantly editing or feeling like you're less than, then what I want you to do is reprogram. And that will really be the main focus this month, is maybe you read a self-help book or listen to a podcast where it gives you insights on how to shift into a higher frequency and a more positive way of thinking. This is going to give you the vitality you need to get things done. This is going to help you basically check off all of those to-do items and to bring yourself into a flow of prosperity, not blocking that flow, which I see a little bit of tension in towards the beginning of the month. Overall, if you do this, and I think it really is a main message of not getting into others' energies, focusing on your own, then you're going to be feeling more vitality, more control, more fulfillment, and a sense of you being able to finish what you want to finish. Where a lot of times, especially I know this is true of parents or people that, again, maybe manage a large group of people, it feels like you're constantly being pulled in a different direction and you just think, when can I get this finished? And so give yourself time to at least get a couple of bucket list items checked off this month, and you're gonna be so much better and have much more to give to everyone around you in the new year. Let's expand your forecast now, starting with health. Health, of course, is not just how you're feeling in your body, but also your mind, your spirit, your emotional well-being. Let me give the cards a shuffle and we'll take a look and see what the overarching message is for health this month. So it really is expanding on our existing theme about taking care of you, yourself, your own person. So when I see this, I see nurture and I also see like nourishment. So take a look at your overall diet and exercise routine this month. And the other piece of this puzzle is, for those of you that might be having sort of feeling an absence of someone in your life that loves you, whether it's your mom or your dad, or just that feeling of acceptance, I really want you to practice self-love this month. And I know that sounds weird, but it's feeling that you're okay, you're lovable, you're in a place where anyone would be lucky and fortunate to have you in their life. And maybe no one's told you that, but I'm going to deliver that message to you this month. You bring value to others. You bring value to this world. I want you to take time to appreciate what a great person you are, the positive aspects of your life, and if there's anything that you want to heal that you don't feel happy about, let this be the month where you decide to work harder on yourself. Maybe this is recovering from an illness or an addiction or from a past wound, whether it's a physical one or an emotional one. Give yourself the time and the space this month to just be with you. The more you heal yourself, the more you love yourself, the more capable you're going to be of attracting someone who has done the same work on themselves. And in effect, both of you are going to be higher frequency and more compatible partners. And I like the word partner when we're looking at love in life, because even though this is about health, it's spilling into love. Because when we find someone who's done the work, it's no longer a teacher situation that we've called into our experience of love. It's someone who is there to champion us and vice versa. So by doing this to yourself, by taking care of yourself this month, you're going to, in effect, help all aspects of your life, your prosperity, your love, and your destiny. And let's see how that plays out. Looking next at your wealth card. Wealth is not just about money, it's self-worth. It's your reaction to opportunities around you. So let's take a look at wealth this month. Grace and gratitude. And these are deceptively sort of easy words to think about, but they take work. So like grace. If things are happening in your life that are really, really challenging you to not go to a negative place, not go to a critical place, and not somehow feel like you have to prove something, it's really what I think this is about for you this month as I look at all the cards in front of us here. So I want you to take time to pause, to ingest what's going on, to suspend your reaction for a little bit, and to simply say, perhaps, thank you for letting me know. Let me think about this and I will get back to you. Nobody is going to fault you for considering something. And even if you have to make a split-second decision, you could say, I need a second, and think about it, and then come back. That shows that you're thoughtful, that you're taking everything into account, and it's a sign of a good leader. It says, through gratitude, joy expands. The latter part of this, and by the way, this card was reversed when I pulled it, which is showing that extra energy needs to be put into this for you this month. Gratitude. Sometimes it's hard to feel thankful for an experience, especially when it feels jarring or unnecessary or like it's a punishment. What we forget sometimes is every single thing that happens to us in this life was either something that we called into existence or that our guides, angels, and the universe itself is presenting to us to grow, to expand. When we wait too long, this can come through as sort of a tower event, which really shakes us up. It can be a breakup. It can be an injury. It can be an addiction that we finally decide to give up because something happened to our physical self. Whatever's happening in your life that feels like it's a little jarring, once you get through the pain and the discomfort of that moment, then the perspective sets in and you can start to have gratitude and thinking like, well, I'm so glad I'm not doing that anymore. I'm glad that I got through it. And for those of you that struggle with gratitude, you can begin this month making a gratitude journal if you haven't ever tried that. You can start little and just think about things like, I'm grateful for the ability to think, to have a clear mind, because some people struggle with illnesses of the brain. I had an accident where I had a concussion, and you can have memory loss. And so if you have your memory, if you can remember what you did yesterday or what you did this morning, be grateful for that. If you can speak, be grateful for that. Not everyone has the ability to form words in cohesive sentences. Can you breathe? Well, if you can, be grateful for that ability to take in oxygen and nourish your body. If you had a great breakfast, you can be grateful for that. They can be small things. It doesn't have to be this lofty goal. I think everybody can find one thing about their life, about something that happened today that you can be grateful for. And then you can start to expand. And then you can get to the bigger things, which is, although this was difficult for me, I grew so much. In In pop music right now, there's actually a really great example of this. So sometimes I like to bring it back to something we can all relate to. I don't know if you've heard the new Ariana Grande song where she talks about like, thank you next. Instead of getting angry at all of her exes, she's looking at how they made her grow. What a great and elevated song, even in pop music right now. So that's an example of gratitude for difficult experiences, but in time you see each and every person, each and every experience came through. So try to have that sort of attitude where it's, yes, now I understand why I did it, and look at me now, look at how much stronger I am because I got through that. The experience may have been something that you really didn't love, appreciate, or even want to remember as you went through it. But now you look back and you think, I wouldn't have changed a thing because I'm exactly where I need to be right now. And that can be your gratitude for this month. Let's take a look now. We looked at health and wealth. We're going to look at love and see what the message is for relationships for you this month. The card came through in reverse, but it says call to action. Take charge, lead by example, walk your talk. And I think that this really goes back to that original Queen of Wands card that we were looking at, which is saying that it's important this month for you to find your own path and to know that this assertiveness, this control, this focus on yourself is actually what's going to be an attractive force, because we're looking at people around you and relationships around you. So be a strong leader by having your life in order. Have you ever looked at some leaders in your life or in the world in general that you wonder, how did they end up there? Because their life is kind of a mess. They have no problem telling other people what to do, but they haven't done a good job managing themselves. So this month, the better you manage your own life and your own relationships, but really your relationship with yourself, because that's where it starts, the better everything else is going to be. Don't be afraid to make the first move. Call to action. That's loud and clear. So if you're in an existing relationship and you need change, have a discussion. Talk to someone about it. Don't be afraid to be direct either, because we have the Lady of Swords there in the center. And if there's someone in your life that you've always wanted to ask out or to become friends with and just spend more time with, this is a month to create opportunities to do that. So don't wait, be the initiator. Let's look now at your destiny card, which is really showing you opportunities, where you're headed. Do you like that path? This is your GPS. If you like it, stick with it. If not, then take a turn, try something new. So 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. This is your channel to the divine. And this is really about connecting to higher purpose, higher insight, sort of like world goals, not just personal goals. So for some of you, you may be at a point in your life where the day-to-day stuff, work, keeping up the house, whatever, it seems very mundane and you need something bigger. This is a call to spirituality. So after you've addressed all of the internal growth sort of issues and concerns that you might have, after you've tackled some of the relationships and talked about whatever it is that you need to talk about and healed some of the wounds, maybe with the maternal energy that we looked at, then there's this time and energy to do something much bigger. This is kind of getting to the bigger, why are you on this planet question that I will pose occasionally here at the end of these readings, especially when we're looking at destiny. This month, any effort that you put into spiritual growth is really going to be well received, and you're going to be able to feel that energy. So make time for meditation. Make time for different sort of healing in your life. If you've never had sort of an energetic healing, whether it's Reiki or some other sort of energy healing, this is a good month to explore that, because whatever you want to do with spirituality, whether it's praying, meditation, or getting some sort of a healing or energy work done, I think that's going to have a profound impact on you and allow you to overcome some of the blocks that you might be feeling. Let's go ahead and review everything and then we'll wrap up. When I was tuning into your energy this month, I said that it's best this month if you channel and create rather than contemplate. Don't get in the way of yourself by overthinking. And that Queen of Wands card at the center really underlined that, which is sometimes thinking too much or being too rigid. That's not going to serve you this month. Your channeled information was to try not to be so protective of your heart or of a fear of failure that you don't express yourself creatively. It's basically a reinterpretation here of the Moon card. So Don't let that sort of fear energy hold you back. I mentioned that really setting the theme for everything that we saw. Better for you to manage your own affairs than others unless asked. Speak your truth this month. Create new things. Start new things. Start your projects. Personal development, whether it's going back to school, training, etc., very much encouraged. In fact, I'd love for you to revisit anything that you haven't had a chance to do in the past. Money-wise, it's not about how much you spend, it's how you spend your time and how you choose to sort of invest your time and money this month. Don't go overboard with spending. It's basically less is more when it comes to actual exchange of money. It's the time and the meaning that you're putting behind that that's much more important. Looking for missed opportunities. There might be something right around the corner or even just under the surface that you're missing because you're focused so much on what's obvious, not what's subtle, not what's coming through on an energetic level. A need for you to pull back maybe from any sort of overactive maternal energy in your life. Also, just taking accountability for yourself. That's the general message. Queen of Wands, the Empress, the Chariot. It's about you. It's about your life this month. Make sure you're happy. If you're not, check that feeling, check that emotion and think, what is it that's causing this sense of feeling a little bit of malaise? Avoiding unnecessary competition, realizing that, yes, it's important sometimes to fight for what you want, but don't let people push your buttons if you can simply kind of take a pause or walk away, because that's going to be a better use of your energy. Focus on vitality. We talked about a bunch of ways you can do that, but really finding what gets you excited about getting up in the morning again. If you've lost that, I want you to meditate on that and spend some time. Really trying to create that sense of looking forward to the day ahead. A lot of this is going to happen simply by taking care of yourself. You can't burn the candle at both ends this month. You have to sleep, eat, and treat your body well. Also heal any old wounds. Basically being for some of you, the parent that maybe you didn't have, or the sort of self-love that you didn't receive from either a partner or a family member. Looking at wealth. It was reversed, but the message here is to work with grace and gratitude. Try not to let people get under your skin. Try to be grateful for every experience, even if you don't understand why it's happening. When it comes to relationships, you're the one that's going to create the change. Don't be afraid to do that. And finally, this is a month for spiritual expansion. You wouldn't be here if you weren't interested in that on some levels. You can go even deeper than this, though, and that's what that card is encouraging you to do. So that brings our monthly reading to a close for your sign, but if you ever have something that you want to talk about, I'm here for you and I'd be happy to read for you. If you take a look below the video, there'll be 3 links. The first is a way to get in touch with me and to check rates and availability to schedule a session if you'd like. If you've ever wondered how you can directly support this sort of content on the channel, a great way to do that is to join me on Patreon. For as little as $1 per month, or if you want to do a one-time donation through my website, that $1 goes a long way in allowing me to create all of the videos that you see here each month, 12 a month or over 150 per year because I do live feeds as well. And also it allows for me to provide new supplies and create time to do the videos because it usually takes me several days per month to do all 12 of these videos. So that lets me take time off work and create what you see here. So feel free to do it. I'm going to put information at the bottom if that's something that you're guided to do. Otherwise, a really great way to connect with me is, of course, to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and opt into the bell notifications so that you know when I post new videos. You can also join me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and I have a newsletter as well. So that third link will allow you to connect across all of those different platforms. I like to end every video with gratitude. The reason I show up each month is, besides just to give you sort of an insight of what's ahead, it's really to help you have the key to grow spiritually. And there really was a sense of self-growth and nurturing that came through. I think that's the overarching message. So as we take a look at this card that was in your expanded forecast, I want you to be that sort of universal mother that we see here with the ascended master here, Mother Mary, and think to yourself, I am worthy of love, of opportunities in my life. I'm bringing something powerful to this planet. I love myself and I open myself up to love and abundance in all forms. that can be your mantra or your personal prayer this month. You can adjust it as you need to for yourself. But just so you know, I'm really happy that you're here on this planet. I appreciate you, and I hope that you give yourself the permission that you need to be happy, to be loved, and to receive all the blessings that the universe wants to give to you. From my heart to yours, I wish you a beautiful holiday season, whether you spend it alone or with others, whether you celebrate or you're just taking care of yourself, it doesn't matter. I just wish you all of the best now and always. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your spiritual journey. Until we meet again, hopefully in January, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.